Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get this program underway. Please welcome to the stage the Executive Director of Athletes for a Better World, Brad Catherman, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Fred. Good evening. Welcome to the 12th Annual Coach Wooden Citizenship Cup. I'm Brad Catherman, the Executive Director of ABW. First, some special recognition for all of our sponsors whose names are printed in the last 2 pages of your program that you have there, and also a special thank you to some that didn't make it by the press deadline. First, Sonny Morris of Morris, Manning, and Martin, thank you very much. Steve Seelig, a great supporter of ours, thank you as well. And the table of Robert Spencer and Zachary Young, thank you all very much. Next year, the Wooden Cup, in addition to the professional division that you'll see tonight that we've had for 12 years, and the collegiate division, we will institute a high school division of the Wooden Cup. We've partnered with the NIAAA, which is the National Association of High School Athletic Directors, and there are 20,000 high schools across the country, to bring the high school division of the Wooden Cup, which we will start a year from now. The NIAAA has adopted our Code for Living, our sportsmanship and character development credo within their national program, and that one male and one female high school athlete across the country will be the first recipients of the high school division of the Wooden Cup, and we're very excited for that partnership.
Well, good evening, and thank you so very much for allowing this Yankee to participate in this festive evening here in Atlanta, Georgia. I really am delighted to be here. I'm honored truly to be here. And if you're here for the first time, the mission of Athletes for a Better World is to use sports to develop character, teamwork, and citizenship. And we feel that sports is the perfect vehicle for that. Kids love sports, they play sports, and they watch sports. I know, I was one of them. Now, tonight will be a special evening. We will meet some remarkable young people, and I've met them, and they are truly that. We will honor one of the great men of Georgia, and not, of course, just Georgia. And we'll have an opportunity to support and join this movement by supporting the mission of the organization. Now, let us meet the first of our 5 college finalists.
Bonnie Brandon is a record-setting swimmer for the University of Arizona. And with silver medals from both the World Championships and the Pan Am Games, she's ready to compete for a spot on our Olympic team this summer. Her coach describes her career as
winning a lot.
Out of the water, she swims with the academic sharks with a 3.8 in nutritional science. But what separates Bonnie more than anything is her life both out of the pool and the classroom.
Well, she's an amazing woman, very hard, very tough, expects a lot out of herself, expects a lot out of people, and like a teddy bear with a soft heart.
Bonnie's a really genuine person. She cares a lot about people, and you can tell.
Bonnie went to a new school in the 5th grade, and her mother asked an unknown girl to show her around.
And she turned out to had a mental disability. I don't know, I was very sensitive to her condition, and she was my best friend through the whole year, and I don't know, I always found it really easy to kind of relate to people that were struggling or had issues in their life.
A team captain and campus leader, Bonnie's the co-president of the Student Athletic Council, where she's taken the lead in the Movember campaign for men's health and numerous other events. But when she heard about one new possibility, this is what happened.
She just brought us into the locker room, and she was like, hey guys, we have this opportunity to impact a little girl's life. And you know, we don't know what's gonna happen. She's fighting cancer, and she could be here for the next several years, or she could be here for the next couple months. And I think all the girls got behind her. It's really easy to get behind Bon when she has an idea.
I remember one day we went to go see her at the hospital. She had 3 big beaded necklaces, and they had like these big yellow beads that all meant she like underwent a surgery. She had probably 10 or 12 of these beads. And then she had these little red beads that meant she had done spinal taps. She's had like 18 spinal taps. And I was blown away with how much she's had to put up with.
In addition to their 9 practices a week and schoolwork, Bonnie has the whole team committed to making a difference and has organized all the activities they do with the young girl, Josie.
We brought her in one time to do a swim lesson. She really wanted to swim with us. We let her beat us, and she just thought it was the coolest thing ever. I've never seen such a big smile on a little girl's face. She was so excited. She follows Bonnie around like a little puppy dog.
Her desire to become a nurse was born when her grandfather was dying. and she went to the hospital to say goodbye.
And my mom would not stop talking about how amazing his nurses were and how much they helped her through this process and helped her siblings through the process. And I said goodbye to my grandpa, I went to the swim meet, and I just couldn't stop thinking about how incredible those nurses were. And after that, I always had the idea of being an ICU nurse kind of stuck in my head. And that's where I want to be. I want to be in the ICU to be at somebody's bedside, to hear their stories and help them through an incredibly tough time.
A race in the pool ends when someone touches the wall first. Please welcome a swimmer who will be touching people all her life. From the University of Arizona, Bonnie Brandon.
All right, thank you so much. It's an incredible honor to be here tonight. Incredible honor to be here with the 4 other athletes that came here. They're great people. It's been awesome getting to know you guys. First off, I'd like to thank my parents for coming out here with me, and to Mr. Byrne, my athletic director. I'd like to thank my teammates too. None of them are here, but I couldn't have done any of this without them. So basically, a little bit about me. I started swimming competitively when I was 9 years old. Loved it from the very beginning. I swam since I was 4, and I've always been a huge fan of the water. I'm not a land person at all. I love water. I'll always go straight for the pool if it's around. So that's kind of where my whole swimming career began, was when I was 9 years old, swimming in Aurora, Colorado. And I finally made my way to the University of Arizona, and I completed my eligibility there. It's been an amazing 4 years. Couldn't have asked for anything more. But when I was in high school, I never wanted to be just a swimmer. I didn't want to be defined as, oh, she's a great swimmer, she's an incredible athlete. I wanted to be something more. I wanted to go above and beyond and be the best that I could be in every aspect of my life. So I began volunteering with Special Olympics. I'd teach swim lessons to young kids at my high school. And that's kind of where everything started, was in high school teaching Special Olympics. Once I made it to college, all I wanted to do was get involved and interact with kids, volunteer as much as I could. And I've taken up a lot of volunteering opportunities at University of Arizona. Some of them are really simple. I was a judge for a what was it? It was a barbecue, fireman's barbecue contest. So I sat there for an hour and I ate ribs and chicken, and it was great. It was an awesome time. So it's opportunities like that just make me laugh. They're so much fun, and you get to meet a lot of really cool people, and that's what I love about volunteering and being with people and everything that comes with that. So in my junior year, I decided to join SAC, which is our Student Athlete Advisory Committee. I've been with SAC for 2 years, and I'm the co-president for my senior year, so this past year. And that's given me, so much more confidence in myself, just to be able to sit at a table with, one representative from each sport at my university, along with my athletic director, and just kind of talk about issues that student athletes have and bring issues to the table, talk about what's going on in the NC2A. And that's been so much fun. It's been, it's kind of brought me out of my comfort zone. I'm not really a speaker, so this is, kind of nerve-wracking for me. But, that made me do the things that I didn't want to do. And they were a lot of fun. I look back on them, and they were great experiences that I wouldn't change for anything. So on the video, they talked about my work with Josie, with Team Impact. I found out about Team Impact through SAC. It was our first SAC meeting my junior year. I was actually an hour late to the first meeting. Got in quite a bit of trouble for that. But anyway, found out about it, went to my girls, my team, and I said, hey, do you guys want to do this? I think this would be a great opportunity to let somebody into our lives and, touch them as much as we can. And I think what made me want to do that was my best friend, when we were 13, was diagnosed with cancer and passed away. And I think that has always given me a drive to touch other people's lives and help them through such a hard time, especially at such a young age. It was incredibly hard to see, your best friend, losing all of her hair and fighting cancer for 1.5 years. And, we're only 13. We don't know how to handle that. So to be able to help Josie through her time has been such an honor and such a privilege to be able to be a part of her life. And I'm happy to say she is graduating from Team Impact, so she is going to be in remission this September. So we no longer have to see her, which, it's kind of sad we don't have to see her, but it means that she's healthy again and she can go on and live a really healthy life. So I'm very happy about that. And I love the work that I do. I love being a part of people's lives, and I can't wait to move on to my future as a nurse once I get through nursing school, another 2 years. And so yeah, that's basically me and what I've done. And again, I'm really honored to be here. This is an incredible opportunity. So thank you all.
Malcolm Brogdon of the University of Virginia is this year's Atlantic Coast Conference Basketball Player of the Year and the Defensive Player of the Year as well, the first time that feat has been accomplished. But his persona is not what you might expect.
I think what separates him is his humility. His middle name is Moses, and his family refers to him as Humble Moses. And I think that's a perfect description of him, someone who's attained so much, who's so driven.
I've always lived my life by the motto that if you're not working as hard as you can, someone else is outworking you.
He got that ethic from his older brother after seeing him practice for hours on end.
I started going to the gym with him through high school, and I really caught on to his work ethic. He was the hardest working basketball player or athlete I had ever seen up until that point.
As an outstanding student, Malcolm earned a room in what's known as the Range, a coveted honor bestowed on a few select students each year. Malcolm earned his bachelor's degree in history in 3 years and is now completing a master's degree in public policy. He's also working as a volunteer intern at a local radio station, focusing on community issues such as obesity, poverty, and domestic violence. He reads to elementary school students, mentors at the Boys and Girls Clubs, participates in feeding programs and other service projects. He faces every aspect of life with the same determination.
I don't think you can be, a part-time person. I think if you're going to be try to be great on the court, you need to try to be great in the classroom as well.
But it's his character that everyone always comes back to.
What I like about Malcolm is he does have, we talk about it, we call it a servant's heart. We say, are you going to be a foot washer? You're going to wash the feet of those who maybe are less fortunate. And he is such a giver that way. He has such a mindset, and I think he was raised that way, the way he was brought up to make a difference. And he wants to make a difference, not just things like that, but with his life after basketball.
As an 11-year-old, Malcolm went to Ghana with family members on a mission trip.
Really, that was a trip that allowed me to firsthand see the poverty that the people were stricken with over there.
That trip set in motion the direction of his life. A few years later, he went to Malawi and South Africa on a second trip.
And Malawi was even worse than Ghana in terms of poverty. And after that, I knew that would be my passion in life. I knew whatever I did, basketball, everything else leading up to that, that was going to be my passion, and that's where I would use all my resources.
Malcolm had determined his goal.
At the end of the day, I'd like to run my own nonprofit that focuses on alleviating poverty in underdeveloped countries in Africa, and secondly in South America.
I totally see Malcolm running a nonprofit. I mean, he's really something he's really passionate about. Every time I've ever asked him about it, he gets really excited to talk about it. I mean,
that's just where the fire has been in me, and that's where I want to make my mark.
Please welcome Humble Moses, a young man determined to make a difference in the lives of those who need it most. From the University of Virginia, Malcolm Brogdon.
Thank you for having me. This is truly a blessing, truly an honor to be here. I'm not sure I can follow that speech, Bonnie. That was awesome. First, I want to say thank you just for having me here. I want to say thank you to my mom. She is my rock. She is my biggest supporter. Just please give her a hand of applause. And thank you to the rest of my family, my grandparents. I have a lot of relatives here, my brother's here. And I'm from Atlanta, so this is really awesome to be back. I know a lot of my video, a lot of what you might hear about me is all basketball focused, but I'm a person that's been raised to believe it goes farther than basketball or even goes farther than the classroom. It's really about impacting people's lives. So I've grown up with that belief. You saw in the video when I went to Ghana as a little kid, and then when I followed up to go to Malawi with my grandparents when I was 14 or 15, those really changed my life. They really shaped my life. They really ignited a fire inside of me that, made me realize that I wanted to do something that would, transform other people's lives. I've always grown up with the belief that if God blesses you with, abilities and leadership abilities and all types of talents, you use that to help other people, help people that are, not as privileged as you are. So, that's my focus every day. That's what I want to do at the end of the day. Right now I do little things. I don't think I'm as amazing as these other finalists here. But I do think I do things. I go visit people in the hospital. I get emails every other day about people that are, not doing as well and that need help, that need a little bit of encouragement. So I'll take time out of my day every once in a while to go visit people in the hospital, go read to kids at elementary schools, and really just do as much as I can to make a difference on a small level right now. And, for the future, I hope that I can continue to do that and continue to use my blessings and better other people's lives. So, thank you for having me, and this is truly an honor. So thank you.
As the son of an Oklahoma cheerleader, you could say that Ty Darlington was a pre-genetic Sooner. But he's more than just a great football player, having graduated in only 2.5 years with numerous all-everything academic accolades, and is now completing his master's degree. He's also received 2 of football's highest awards, the Campbell and Werfel trophies for service.
Yeah, Ty's just a very unique individual that has incredible intelligence, but the common man approach to encourage people, just a very, very special person, leader, and in all parts of life, not just on the football field, not just in academics, and how to go about your everyday life as well.
As the center, Ty's responsibility is to start every play. But his sense of responsibility off the field extends in numerous areas. His little brother was knocked out in a high school game, airlifted to the hospital, and missed the entire season. It was traumatic for the whole family. And so when Ty was one of only 15 representatives at the NCAA convention, he wasn't just there to observe the concussion issue.
That was something I was passionate about. I wanted a certain provision in that legislation that would give autonomous authority to the medical providers, to the trainers and the doctors.
The convention didn't pass what Ty wanted. So he came back again this year, and this time was successful with an even stronger initiative than what had failed the previous year. On campus, when a serious racial incident occurred last year, Ty knew he had to take the lead.
We had a chance. We had an opportunity to speak on behalf of everybody, and that's what we really wanted to do, is bring sort of attention to what is not just an Oklahoma issue. It's a national issue.
Well, he just did a great job in leading the team in discussions, and he did a great job of allowing everyone to speak, but then bringing it all together as a team.
Ty was right in the middle of it. He genuinely cares about other people and his influence on and impact on other people. He wants to make change happen. And we have a joke running around the program that we call him Senator Darlington.
Ty has participated in numerous service activities, including 3 trips to
and I
Haiti.
think that I went to Haiti believing that I had something to offer, that somehow I was going to bless them. It was the opposite that was true, that I felt like I gained more from them than they gained from me.
But nothing has been more important to him than a relationship he and others developed with a young girl who was battling cancer.
We met her then, and over the next couple years, we came closer and closer with her and with her family, and her family took us in. We'd go out to eat with them, and it really became so much more than just a hospital visit relationship. She passed away this past June, and that really hit all of us hard, And absolutely, if there's one memory that I feel like that really tugs on my heart from my time here, it's that entire experience. I got to do a lot of cool things and got to play in some big games and that type of thing. But it's the people that really matter to me. And when I think about the big wins, I think about moments like that with her family.
Please welcome a man who starts the plays wherever he is. A big man with a big heart and big goals for himself and everyone he meets. From the University of Oklahoma, Ty Darlington.
Thank you all so much for being here. It truly is an honor just to be a finalist for this award. And when you start with thank yous, first I have to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that has continued to bless me so immensely in everything that I do, absolutely. And then also, thank you to Athletes for a Better World for this event, for the hospitality that you've shown us. You treated all the finalists and their families here absolutely spectacularly. It's been a great time. Thank you to the other finalists and their families that you guys are the products of what's best in college or in college athletics. It makes me proud to be here with you and to be coming out of the college athletic system and get so much criticism a lot of the time. Thank you to everyone at OU with our assistant athletic director, Mike Houck, our athletic director, Joe Castiglione, my coaches, my teammates that have invested so much in me. Also, thank you to all the organizations that I've served with. I mean, all of us have had a lot of charitable organizations that have facilitated the things that we've done. And thank you to the individuals that have volunteered alongside me. And last but not least, thank you to my family. My two parents are here. So happy to have them here. I'm the oldest of 7. I got 6 brothers and sisters back home that I adore. And a while back when we were filming that video and when Mr. Northup came to Norman, he asked me a question about what was the greatest influence in my life or what makes me tick, something along those lines. And I told him my mom, and the way that she brought us up, and he asked me for an example, and I couldn't quite find the words to explain, to drive home the point that I wanted to make. And then I was home last weekend, and it hit me hard that I was home. I was talking to my little sister Lily. She's 9, and she's absolutely adorable. And she was telling us about how they started making homeless bags. That Lily wanted to be able to. She put like toiletries and snacks and all these things into a small grocery bag to hand out to homeless people that they saw driving around Apopka, where I'm from. And it hit me. I was like, that's it right there. It's not me. It's not something about me. I think it's the same with these other finalists. It's a lot of it is how I was brought up and the culture of service that my mom and my dad instituted from a young age, that we did everything with a service mindset and to do unto others as you have them do to you. And I think that that's why this award is so special to me, because it's about service. It's not about what we did on the field. It's not what we did on the court or the swimming pool or anything else. It's about service. And that ties into what I think is the greatest gift that we've been given as athletes, and that's the platform to make an impact. Because we don't just play for enjoyment. We don't just play for profit. We play to make a difference. And we have a voice that's not always used to its fullest, and that's a voice for progress, for justice, and for social change. And I think it's our responsibility to use that voice to the very best of our ability. And we need to leverage our influence to positively impact the people around us. Because when we say that something's important, the world hears us. And that when we speak, people listen. And with that capability becomes a responsibility to speak up and to stand out with our words and with our actions. And that's why it's such an honor to stand here as a finalist with all these other people, because I know that they believe in the same things that I do. And I also think that you all believe in the same thing that I do about athletes, and that is that we as athletes are worth a lot more than what we do on the field, than what we do on a court, than what we do in a swimming pool. And I think that if we play our cards right, we really just might change the world. And I believe that. So thank you for being here, and God bless.
Alexa Hone came down to South Carolina upstate to play soccer on a campus that captivated her when she first saw it. She's a communication major whose 3.78 GPA reflects the determination that is so characteristic of her. But she's more than an athlete and a student. Described as
infectious, in a good way, in the best way possible. I mean, just her personality just really draws people in.
That commitment to others was demonstrated when she asked permission to make a presentation to the Student Athletic Council before she was a member. She challenged that group in a number of ways. Why not have a unified project for the whole athletic department? Why not open council projects to everyone? What about fundraising events? And on and on.
If you're an athlete, I think that we have the chance to make a difference and just stand out in a new way.
Not surprisingly, she was elected captain of the soccer team for 3 years, as well as the community service representative. She's now the vice president for both her college student athletic council and for the Atlantic Sun Conference as well, where she's working to implement her vision of a conference-wide service effort. At home, while she led efforts at the Miracle Hill Soup Kitchen, Boys and Girls Clubs, Angel Tree, reading to school children, and other charitable activities, she wanted to make a larger impact.
I just went into the community and went to different organizations, and I stumbled upon the Hope Center in Spartanburg. It's an emergency shelter where kids at any time of the day can come in. Athletes can really instill light into some kids' darknesses, and I thought that the biggest impact that we could have is there, and just mentoring them and being able to be someone that they can lean on.
Her vision was to make a real long-term lasting impact, and for that it would require a commitment by the whole team.
So our team basically has been volunteering since last spring, an hour a week.
I went there and the girl didn't have any homework, so we were able just to hang out, and we started singing. I'm not a very good singer at all, but she was really good, so I just went along with it. And she sang Temporary Home, and when she started singing that, it just kind of hit me that that is a temporary home for them, but they have like a permanent place in our hearts, and I just want to be able to relay that to them and let them know that we're there to make an influence on them, and they've helped us see a new light in our lives as well.
Her dream is one day to begin her own nonprofit, to shine light, as she says, in dark places. Please welcome what is already a bright light in many lives, from University of South Carolina Upstate, Alexa Hone.
First and foremost, wow, words can't even begin to explain how honored and grateful I am to be standing before you all. I couldn't thank enough people for where I am today and how they have shaped me. But I want to congratulate and thank all the other finalists for everything they do to serve and sacrifice for others. For me personally, my journey started with one simple word: legacy. My parents raised me to be a go-getter. I knew everything I received and anything I got was due to the hard work and the ability to go after what I wanted fearlessly. I never worked hard to get recognized. I worked hard because it's who I was. Being the go-getter I was when I officially signed to play Division I soccer, I thought, whew, I reached my goal. I finally did it. But if I only knew then what I knew now, I knew my goal was far from reached. Everything about me changed the minute I stepped on the USC Upstate campus. I recall the moment that changed my life like it was yesterday. My coach had me sign up to work with Big Brother, Big Sister program. I couldn't wait to just go out, have fun, and let loose with them. But instead, they transformed my life and my vision for serving others. The happiness and joy they gave me was something I hope I could only repay them. Shortly after the eye-opening experience, my coach sat us down and looked us in the eye. She said, "What legacy will you leave behind?" I was elected captain at the end of my freshman year, but my eyes saw myself as more than a leader on the field. I wanted to be the type of leader that no matter what, I'd come through and honor the reason why my team and my coaches trusted me. As an athlete, it's easy to get consumed in performance. It's easy to reflect on your own playing time and your statistics. But as a leader, I wasn't going to let my team be consumed in worldly desires. Instead, I wanted to strive to emphasize the importance of serving and sacrificing, because without one another, we couldn't do what we do. And after all, there's strength in numbers. I went before my coach in hopes to be the community service representative, and I was blessed to have a coach and teammates that believed in me to find the necessary charities and opportunities to help. Serving a Lord that has loved me where I'm at has given me the strength and courage to serve others with the love he has given me. Someone once told me, "You haven't lived today until you've done something for someone who can never repay you." It's about embodying the selfless moments in a selfish world. I believe in the light that athletes have and their ability to shine light in people's darkness. We aren't just athletes, and I couldn't thank my coach enough for the day that she challenged me about the legacy that I was going to leave. My heart for serving transformed the minute I arrived on campus, and I've always had a passion for helping others, but volunteerism has become my heart and soul. Reflecting back to the go-getter personality that my parents have raised, I took matters into my own hands on campus. I signed myself, my team, and my conference up for volunteering opportunities and haven't looked back since. My life simply wouldn't be the same without my parents, my coaches, my teammates, and the Lord I continue to serve. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am honored and grateful to stand before you all. Thank you.
Luke Romick is a two-sport athlete at Denison University, using his speed as a sprinter on the track team to chase down ball carriers on the football field. But more impressive are his leadership abilities. Luke was elected president of the Denison Student Athletic Council and also president of the North Coast Atlantic Conference. At Denison,
I've been able to use my voice and speak up for people who are necessarily afraid of the athletic director to say something or afraid of their head coach to say something. I've kind of spent my time getting to build these relationships.
Luke bridges gaps, with his genuine personality and his enthusiasm.
As a freshman, he proposed a formal dance off campus for all athletes. When the administration said no, he held it anyway, along with two other friends paying the bill. It was such a success that the administration changed policy, and that dance got the attention of all the athletes at school, jump-starting their participation in many other events. The council now hosts numerous charitable events each year and continues to grow.
In this day and age with young people, Luke's very high energy, which is awesome and exciting to be around, but also he's, like I said, very genuine, not afraid to be him, not afraid to make his choices.
His many community efforts led him to be named to this year's All-State Good Works team. Luke's greatest mark, however, has been with a nonprofit group that builds wells for impoverished people in third world countries called the Thirst Project. He heard about it in high school.
And when I heard the speech and I heard that there were over 1 billion people without access to clean water on this earth, it shook my world. Every statistic that he dropped on me, I just got deeper and deeper and was like, oh my God, what can I do about this issue?
What he did was save over $2,500, get a grant and an internship in Los Angeles after his freshman year, where he volunteered all summer. By the end, he'd taken over the job of his supervisor and been asked to come back. At Denison, he began a local chapter for the Thirst Project and began raising money. He's been back to Los Angeles every summer, increasing his responsibilities each year, and will begin a job with them after graduation.
Whether it be our annual gala, where we bring in our biggest celebrity sponsors, have kind of like an award show where we honor the biggest influencers of our organization throughout the year. And so I produce the red carpet and the live stream of that show, and really kind of an integral part of putting that together. And so that, along with other conferences like VidCon, we end up raising $300,000 to $330,000 just in the summer.
$1 million isn't bad for 3 summers. Luke Romick came to Denison to run. He's been doing it on and off the field. His track teammate and roommate sums it up this way.
I mean, he's got the traits every coach looks for in an athlete and every guy looks for in a friend.
And what we look for in our leaders. Please welcome a man with commitment and energy from Denison University, Luke Romick.
Wow, this is a lot bigger crowd than I'm used to seeing on Saturdays, so excuse me if I trip up a little bit. First and foremost, I would like to thank ABW for having me and bringing me out here with the other amazing finalists here. I'll touch on them in just a moment. But secondly, I'd like to thank my family. Table 7 over here. I have a big pack that travels with me wherever I go, and they're always there, and I couldn't do anything without them. And being in a time, a few years ago, Time magazine released an article that said, the millennials, which would be me and the other finalists around you, are the most entitled, lazy, narcissistic, and self-centered generation around. And I'd like to look at the other 4 finalists and absolutely counter that with them. We are in a time where, thank you. We are in a time where athletics is at its peak entertainment value, and where athletes hold the ability to speak and change everyone around them. Kids look up to them. Parents look up to them. Community members look up to them. With your voice, you can do anything. And so as an athlete, I've been blessed to do that. And without really the platform to do this, I wouldn't be here today. They say we live in a society where one person works hard, and if he works the hardest and tries the hardest, he'll be the best and most successful. But if there's one thing that's athletics taught me, it's that if you work your hardest, you can still fail. But that's all right, because you get back up and you get back after it. And in this generation, a self-made man is a myth. Without Nan, my athletic director, without my family, without the organizations I've worked with, without every individual that I've met in my time at Denison and my life before that, I wouldn't be the man I am today. And so when I accept this award and being a finalist, it's not me. I'm a collection of everybody who has came before me and influenced me. And I really want to note them and speak for them because they can't all be here with me tonight. And as I finish, I just want to say thank you one more time. It's an absolute honor to be here, and I wish you all the best. And whoever wins, I'm excited.
All too often, with all the shenanigans that do go on at times, it is embarrassing to say I'm a fan of college sports. Tonight, we have the 180. Tonight, aren't we all proud to be fans of college sports? I don't know how they're going to pick a winner here. All I know is that, to me, there's 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D. And you can flip them around and reach in the hat and pick out a different winner. They're all extremely impressive young people. But for the presentation of the Cup, it is now my pleasure to introduce the founder of ABW, Fred Northup.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. It's always great. It's incredible. And when I look down and see Craig Impleman here, Coach Wooden's son-in-law, it's a great thing to see you and Alec and so many of you that come year after year. I want to thank Bob Ryan. I want to thank Billy Espy. I want to thank Brad Catherman, our executive director. I want to thank our board. I want to thank everybody that's made tonight such a great thing. It's a pleasure each year. It's an honor for us to bring these 5 young athletes before you and to honor them. When somebody asks me, what's the Wooden Cup about? I say, well, it's not for the athlete that's the best athlete, although we have some really great athletes. And it's not for the best student, although we have some really good students. It's for the athlete who is the best person. The Wooden Cup is an award for character, which recognizes and celebrates that importance and the impact that character can have. I saw a news story not long ago, probably some of you all did too, about some school district somewhere that was considering having math and science for preschool. I guess to better prepare the kids. I disagree with that solution. I agree with Vince Lombardi, who said, the character rather than education is our greatest need and our greatest safeguard. Because, he said, character is higher than intellect. In other words, it's not the content of the educational program that matters in the long run. It's the character you develop in each person. Our calling as an organization is to use sports to develop the character that nurtures that desire to do one's best, that is never satisfied with the sloppy or the shoddy or the half effort. Our calling is to use sports to develop the interior moral strength and courage and integrity to stand for the hard right against the easy wrong, that develops that will to persevere in the face of difficulties and challenges and inevitable defeats. The person of character is a person of substance, and that person will master math or science or anything else that's put before them, because that person will do whatever it takes. And that is the kind of person that we admire. It's the kind of person we want to know. It's the kind of person we want to hire or marry our children or run our companies or run our communities or our nation. And we have 5 of those people that you have met. And it is an extraordinary, difficult choice for those who do the voting to choose which one is the recipient of the Wooden Cup. And this year, it is Luke Romick from Denison University.
Now, last night, if you were at the mixer the rest of us were at, you would have known that Fred said if you would like to win tonight, you better have your collard greens. And I'd just like to let you know I ate my collard greens last night. And thank you very much. Thank you.
And right now I would like to invite Frank Ross and Tony Barnhart to join me here on the stage to watch an introduction to Coach Vince Dooley.
The name Vince Dooley has been synonymous with the University of Georgia for as long as anyone can remember. No one expected that when a 31-year-old was hired as the head football coach in 1963, that over the next 25 years his teams would win 6 SEC championships, a national championship in 1980, and that he would receive numerous national, regional, and SEC coaching honors and awards, including the National Coach of the Year. His legacy was enshrined in 1994 with his induction into the National College Football Hall of Fame. As athletic director, he built one of the most successful college programs in the country as his Georgia teams won 78 SEC championships and 23 national championships. In 2008, the university recognized his contributions with the dedication of the Vince Dooley Athletic Complex in his honor. But Coach Dooley has made numerous contributions off the field. With a master's degree in history, not surprisingly, Vince is the chair of the Georgia Historical Society and, as a known Civil War expert, also serves on the National Civil War Preservation Trust. Dooley is also recognized as a gardener and horticulturalist. In addition to his own arboretum, he was key in having the UGA campus designated as an arboretum, and even has a professorship in the horticulture department named for it. A tireless speaker and supporter of causes, among his many efforts have been the Heart Fund, multiple sclerosis, juvenile diabetes, the Boy Scouts, and the Salvation Army. For 28 years, he served as the chair of the Georgia Easter Seal Society, was recognized as the National Volunteer of the Year, and had a new facility in Atlanta built and named for it. His interest in education was shown again when he and his wife Barbara teamed up to chair a campaign to build a Catholic high school to serve the greater Athens area, and then further demonstrated when he established an endowment for the UGA library with a major personal gift. In addition to his efforts around Georgia, Vince has made more than one pilgrimage to Lourdes with the sick, and has worked a week each of the past 4 years in Central America, making a real difference in the lives of some of the poorest people.
Vince, he's just a wonderful human being. When it comes to doing good, I don't think he ever says no to anyone. I've never known a football coach who has a soccer field named for him, who started an endowment for the library, and who invited me to the flower show.
For more on Coach Dooley, please welcome the captain of the 1980 national champion Georgia Bulldogs, Frank Ross.
Calls out there. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to congratulate all the honorees tonight. In my eyes, all of you are winners. Keep doing what you're doing. You make this world a better place. Let's give them a hand of applause. And it's an honor to be part of Coach Dooley's introduction tonight, and I'm proud to say that 90% of the seniors from the 1980 National Championship team are here, along with numerous other coaches and players that played for Coach Dooley. And so I'd like for all those that are players and former coaches, Coach Dooley, please stand up so you can see all the support he's got. Thank you. To me, that in itself is a testament to what Coach Dooley's former players think of him, to take the time from their personal, from their family, from their work, to travel, to come honor a coach that they played for almost 35 years and even more ago. I was told to keep my introduction under 2 minutes, but that is almost impossible when his resume is 6 pages full of accomplishments. So what I thought I'd do is I'd share with you some of Coach Dooley's characteristics and how they translated to his players. He's extremely disciplined and expected us to be the same and not to make mental mistakes. He expects a lot of himself and expects a lot of us to strive for excellence, to be your best, is the way he put it. He's resilient and expected us to overcome adversity regardless of the circumstances. And he was famous for saying, no excuses. Extremely hard worker and expect the same from us. His thought was he could overcome lack of talent. He's a very strict disciplinarian, but fair. If you messed up, the Dooley wrath would come down on you. Just as my 4 accomplices and I found out when we unlawfully procured a hog from the University of Georgia Swine Center. I can assure you it was not a fun experience when he came down on us. He cared for his players and wanted them to succeed in life, and he still does. Few people know this, but he's probably one of the few coaches, if not the only coach in college football, who continue to fund his players' education after football as long as you are working towards a degree and making progress towards that degree. And many of us here tonight were the beneficiaries of that because we took longer than 4 years to get out. After playing for Coach Dooley, I had the privilege to serve as a graduate assistant where I gained a deeper understanding and appreciation for him. One of the many things I learned during staff meetings and listening to him was to sleep on difficult and emotional decisions so you would make decisions based on facts and not emotions. This is one of many lessons learned from Coach Dooley that I've passed on to my 2 sons. Even at age 83, Coach Dooley continues to give back and impact lives. Just a month ago, my wife and I went on a mission trip to Honduras with him and Barbara. I was amazed how Coach was out working the younger volunteers in 90-degree heat while wielding a pickaxe. I've always believed, and I really have, I said this at the 100th anniversary of Georgia football when I had introduced Coach Dooley, but I really believe this, that when it's all said and done, a person is measured by how much more they gave than they took. And it's clear, Coach Dooley has given way more than he has taken, and because of that, we're all better off. Thank you, and congratulations, Coach Dooley.
That's your captain, folks, right there. That's your captain. I'm Tony Barnhart of the SEC Network. Before I get started, I just want to say one thing. This is going to be my 40th year covering college athletics. And every time I come to this event, I leave feeling really good. So to these extraordinary young people, all 5 of them, thank you for being here tonight and making us feel good, okay? Thank you. I have known Coach Dooley since I was an undergraduate at Georgia in 1974. I had this ridiculous idea that I wanted to be a sports writer, and I thought all coaches were like Coach Dooley. I was wrong. But look, the accomplishments of Coach Dooley are going to be well documented by Frank and everybody else. As a coach, as an administrator, a leader in college athletics, we know what Vince Dooley has done. I want you to know another Vince Dooley that I've gotten to know over the last 40 years as a professional. I have to tell you that Coach Vince Dooley is the most intellectually curious person I have ever met. He is the definitive Renaissance man. Here's what I mean by that. When he became interested in horticulture, like you saw up there, he didn't just go out and just dig a couple of holes and plant a couple of flowers. No. Coach Dooley had to get immersed in it. He had to get in there deep and figure it all out. He acted like he was planning a big game, and the next thing I know, I look around and he's invented his own strain of hydrangea. I promise you, the coaches in the Big Ten don't do that. I can promise you that right now. Okay. When I say he's intellectually curious, what I mean by that, he has tested the physical and mental endurance of his family when he goes to these Civil War battlegrounds, and he wants to see. He doesn't just want to see what's going on. He wants to know why it goes on. Who were the people who were involved in these conflicts? You know, Frank told you about the trip to Honduras. Well, a year ago, my wife and I, Maria, we went on that trip, and during that trip, we were there for the dedication of Vince Dooley Field, a soccer field between a middle school in an elementary school in the beautiful Agalta Valley of Honduras. It was an incredible, life-changing experience for us. But as Frank mentioned, you know, we get there, and we were talking, they spent like 12 hours pouring concrete footings. If you've ever seen anybody do that, they were building a bridge, and they were building these concrete footings. And what you have to do is you have to stay there while they pour the concrete because you can't let it set up and dry. So you've got to be out there. And so I'm talking to all these young volunteers. They're all in their 20s, and they're saying they're working with Coach Dooley and said, we can't keep up with him. We can't. I had to sit down. I was exhausted. So his work ethic is legendary. And the bridge got built after we left, and now all the kids from the elementary school can walk safely across the road overhead to go to the other school. It was an incredible. The president of Honduras showed up at this event. It was a big deal. The president of Honduras, who I'm sure was coached up well, he knew every game that Coach Dooley won. He knew how many SEC championships. So here we are in Honduras with the president of Honduras quoting Coach Dooley chapter and verse, okay? Now, over the past 40 years, I would share this with you. It's been my honor to be present at most of the major awards, including this one that Coach Dooley's won. And we all know that he's a Hall of Famer in every sense of the word. But I want to share this with you. On that day in Honduras, when I saw the faces of the children who would play on Vince Dooley Field, not only now, but in generations to come, I believed it to be Coach Dooley's finest hour. It really was. So this honor tonight adds to that incredible legacy. And that's the Vince Dooley I want you to know. Coach, Barbara.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Tony. Unworthy though I am, I get the distinct honor of saying, please welcome Coach Vince Dooley.
Oh, my goodness. Every time one of the athletes got up here, Barbara turned to me and said, unbelievable. After everyone, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I could listen to him all night. And then she told me when I got ready to get up there, keep it short. So I'm going to try to keep it short. Frank Ross and the players that come, thank you very much. Coach Wooden was one of my three biggest role models. And so many times you had heard me say things that I looked up here and saw all the quotes that he had. One that I remember because he never talked about winning so much as he talked about trying to win, laying it all out, 60 minutes. And he said, winning will take care of itself if you do that. And he used to say, who could ask more of a man than to give all within his span? For giving all, it seems to me, is not too far from victory. It doesn't guarantee you that you're going to win, like Luke said, but it guarantees you you're in the ball game. And if you're in the ball game in the fourth quarter, you got a good chance to win. So what role model this organization picked as the role model of role models? Here's an individual whose role models were Abraham Lincoln and Mother Teresa. So that gives you a little indication about Coach Wooden and why so many of us followed him. So thanks, guys, for coming. Frank, I've said many times in the 25 years that I was coach that you were and still are the best captain I ever had. And tonight is an example to get these people to come. And Tony Barnhart, who has three of the most beautiful women of any man in the life that I've ever seen. Tony, you know that. And Tony covered Georgia football, and when I got to know him early, and we'd talk about football, and then when football was over, we'd just sit down and talk. And those moments were always very special to me. So thank you, Tony, and thanks to you. You have the greatest respect for Bob Ryan, and I thank Dilly Espy, who is our chairman, and who evidently has disappeared. I don't see him. Billy, what are you doing back there? Well, Billy's here, and thanks to him, he got Bob, and this has been an incredible night. And with Fred came to me and knows this better than anybody. As you saw, some of you maybe for the first time, those 5 that you saw, just absolutely incredible. We have seen 5 like that for 12 straight years, if you can imagine that. So you're talking about feeling good about the future of America. Just come to this banquet every year like we have done for 12 years. And what a great group, and what a great opportunity to be a part of. I was thinking about this award, and we've given it to some wonderful professionals, and here I am up here with them, and I'm talking about Mia Hamm, and I'm talking about Jack Nicklaus. I remember 2 years ago, Jack Nicklaus sitting right there. Greatest family man in the world. He pulled out in his pocket a card, and I had made the statement that we had a football team of grandchildren with no substitutes, 11. Jack Nicklaus had 2 football teams of grandchildren, 22. And he had on a little card their names and birthdays of every one of them. Just absolutely amazing. And then there was Cal Ripken, who was one that I've always had great admiration for. An individual that broke a record of Lou Gehrig, and whose record I can't ever imagine can ever be broken, 2,632 straight games without missing a game. And he told me one time, I was so curious about how he was able to do that. He said, first of all, the Lord bless me because I didn't have any serious injuries. But the injuries that I did have were minor, that I could fight through them. He said, but there was one point when I had something, muscle strain, that every time I swung and missed, that the pain was so bad, he said, I had made up my mind that I was going to sit down. I had to get it well. He said, I noticed that when I hit the ball, it didn't hurt. And they're always told you got to watch the ball when you're batting. He said, I watched the ball better in my whole career during that time and had the greatest hitting streak that I ever had. So it's being around those people like that with that kind of opportunity has just been a real joy for me. And I like this idea, Bob, of you got to accentuate the positive. But Bob, I'm not sure how many people here ever heard that song. I know some of these players ain't never heard that song. But it's a wonderful song, and I think it's a great theme. This award, I was thinking, John Wooden, because everybody wants to be like John Wooden, at least in my mind, that there is an addition to the Citizenship Card Award. There is the John Wooden Coaching or Play Award. The male coach of the year, the female, the male athlete, basketball player of the year, and the female basketball player is called the John Wooden Award. There's also the John Wooden Coach of the Year. And ironically, this year, Tubby Smith, who I hired at Georgia, is the winner of the John Wooden Coach of the Year. And I'm confident if Kentucky had not come along that old Tubby would still be coaching at Georgia. That's the only reason. He absolutely loved that and would love to come back. He was just absolutely great. And there's another award that my wife didn't even know that she had won, called the Nell Nellie, and that was Coach Wooden's wife, who he loved, Nellie. It's called the Nell and John Wooden Humanitarian Award, which is given to recognizing and celebrating the contribution of a spouse to the long-time success of a coach. So, Barbara, you are a winner of that award. However, that is not about you tonight. It's about me, and I thank and love every one of you for coming, and God bless. Oh, and my children who just bid, I saw all three of them. All of our children are rich. I saw them bid, give money. That is great. I'm so proud of you for being here. Who else, Barbara? Thank you, and God bless.
All of us sitting at our tables tonight have been enriched, as we are every year, by the wonderful stories, the wonderful personalities we've seen honored tonight. These 6 people have set a standard for all of us to be proud of and for all of us to live by. Thank you for being here.